You are our bonus session for our Monday masterminds, and we're so happy to have you here for a second time. Colby, are we just going to dive right in? Or are we?
Yeah, I mean, let's do a quick introduction for those who don't know us, and we can introduce Brent as well, and then give him the floor.
Sure. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Eva Casoria, and I run a small but powerful team out of the New York and Connecticut area. Been with EXP just under a year now. I work with my son as a buyer's agent, Dylan, who's, if not on this call already, just returning from an inspection, will be shortly. I have an operations manager. Her name is Margaret, who's probably joining us, as well as two other buyer's agents on the team. So that said, I will let Colby jump in here with an introduction of herself. She's my daughter and she works with us together, and she'll introduce Brent.
Yes. Hi, everyone. We're really glad you're here. I handle operations for Every Move Collective, which is our organization at EXP. And we're producing these masterminds on the second and fourth Monday of every month. We want it to be a community value-based space where people can plug into to kind of energize their business, connect with other agents, whether you're EXP or you're at another brokerage. We're glad that you're here. And we've got Brent, who is my sponsor here at EXP. And he's been in real estate since 1997. He sold like an insane amount of homes. His team has sold over 4,000 homes. He's very impressive, and learning from him has been really amazing. So we're excited that you get to do that as well with us today. Without further ado, I'll let Brent kind of take us into what's coming in this quarter, and how can we really energize our sales, our businesses with the NAR ruling on the horizon, and what ways can we kind of shift into a growth mindset to be really, really resilient in the year and years to come?
Well, thank you very much, Colby. Great to be here, everyone. Good to see you. I'm out by Tampa, Florida, if you know where that is. Headed to Miami tonight for 10X, but great to be here. Hey, I thought I would start with the Big NAR decision. This is a plus. This is exciting. This is going to put money in your pocket. It's going to help you. Colby, I just texted you the big three things that NAR said we have to do. Can you put it on, share your screen? I want everyone to see them. Do not be afraid. This is going to help you, not hurt you. And while Colby's doing that, she's going to hit share her screen. You'll be able to see what I just texted her. But it might take a second to come through, Colby, if you're not seeing it.
I'm
But
pulling it up right now.
good. Colby, basically, you ever go take a buyer out, then 6 months later they buy with another agent? Taking a buyer out, you spend 2-3 weekends and end up buying a home they saw at an open house. Well, because of this lawsuit, all that's going to end. So if you're all looking at your screen, you should all be seeing this little piece of paper is from the National Association of Realtors. And this resolved a nationwide claim against NAR from sellers, this group of sellers, which was a handful of people. People like, oh, I can get money. I'm in. That's kind of how these things work. And they came up with three things. Number one, cooperative commission is no longer required. It remains optional and can no longer be advertised in any MLS or third-party system. So on the face, this sounds terrible. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Because normally when you list a home, you go, hey, my fee is 3%. And then traditionally for the past 100 years, you offer a commission to the buyer of what you want to offer. It could be less, but most people in our community offer this type of commission. Feel free to do what you want. Most sellers, I'll do 3 and 3, we'll do 6, or mine's 2.5. Most agents match it and do 2.5. Or some sellers could look, I got, Remax will do it for 4. Will you do it for 3.5? Yeah, I'll do it for 3.5. And then maybe you charge 1.5% and you put 2% in the MLS. This is completely negotiable. Well, of course, they said that it wasn't. So basically, when you list a home, I'm going to do the same thing I've always done. I recommend you do the same thing you always did. Hey, my commission is 3% or 2.5 or 5 or 10%. Commissions are not fixed. It's whatever you want to charge. I used to pay H&R Block $350 a year to do my taxes. Now I pay my CPA $3,500 a year. I mean, now I probably pay $90,000 to do my taxes. But the point is this, I have better tax people that charge more. And H&R Block's pretty basic, they charge less. So same thing, what do you charge? Whatever your value is. So whatever it is in the MLS, for most people, they charge 3 and go, now you could, this big lawsuit says you have the right to offer nothing. But I can tell you right now, if you were my sister, my brother, my parents, my kids, I recommend you offer something. You don't have to. But if agents call me and say, are you offering compensation? And I say no, they're going to skip your house. They literally will take it off the showing. Do you want people to skip your house? It will massively affect the sales price, in my opinion. And so there you go. And so when I list homes, it would be 6%, 3 and 3, nothing changes. Now you can't put it in the MLS field. You can't be advertised on Zillow, which is a third-party system, Redfin, Realtor.com, yada, yada, yada. But agents can, in fact, notify other agents in other ways that, hey, we are co-oping, we're offering X to the buyer. Now, the cool thing is, look at number 2. All realtors and MLS participants must have buyer-broker agreement executed prior to any touring. The final compensation cannot exceed what's agreed to in the BBA, buyer-broker agreement. So here's the deal on that. This is awesome. Now, on the East Coast, you guys have been using BBAs forever. We don't do that on the West Coast. I don't believe Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Arizona. None of these places use it. I love the BBA. It's like, how many of you would list a home and not do a listing agreement? Nobody. Everybody nationwide has a listing agreement, but for buyers on the West Coast, we don't have a BBA. So now we say, look, I cannot show you. You can show them this. Give them a copy of this. I can't show you the house unless you sign this. And so guess what? They're going to sign it. And in there saying, and the lawsuit says that now you get the right to pay the commission that the seller's always paid for 100 years. And that commission is 3% of the purchase price. You're looking at a $500,000 home. So that's 15 grand. And this lawsuit, to save you the consumer money, gives you the option to pay an additional $15,000. Do you want to do that? No, I don't. I say, okay, so we're going to put the 3% here. And the way this is going to happen is the seller's going to have to pay it, because someone's got to pay it. And then I'm going to get a BBA signed and put 3%, and that's going to be paid by the seller. And if a seller doesn't want to pay anything, we're skipping the house. And trust me, sellers will pay. And then number 3, since all commission amounts are negotiable, each party prior to the offer, the seller's to the buyer's commission can be negotiated. So it's all done by 1 and 2. And then so you guys are freaked out, going, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? It's awesome. You're going to own your buyers for the first time ever, those of you on the West Coast and the Southwest. So that is pretty cool. I'm going to open it up real quick for some Q&A. We can pull that down and see if anyone has questions on this. And we're going to figure it out as we grow. We're going to polish it. We're going to get better. But if you'd like to ask a question, do what Rima did and go down to your reactions and hit raise my hand. And when you're done, hit lower my hand. But Rima, we'll start with you from Seattle, Washington. Go ahead.
Thanks. Hi. I would just want to hear you repeat that script you just said when you're talking to buyers about if they're not offering commission, we're going to skip that house. Like, let's massage that a little bit and say it a little nicer, or
you have to pay it, or the seller has to pay it. Somebody's got to pay it. And the big lawsuit wanted you to have to represent you, the consumer, to protect you. Now you could pay something the seller's always paid for 100 years. Do you want to pay the 3% commission? No, I don't. Okay, so the seller's going to have to pay it, or we're going to skip the house. And that's it. And they go, yep. And they go down, you put it in there, you're moving on. And you get a copy of this, and you can listen to it again and again. But that's kind of it. You're very point blank about it. This is how it works. But now you own the client for 6 months or a year, whatever the length is of that BBA. I would not do one house. A lot of people are teaching, well, just do a BBA for one house. Why? You go, I am going to be radically committed to you. I will move every stick. I will move every rock, move every leaf. There's nobody who's going to outwork me. And I'm going to put hours and hours and hours into finding you your dream home. And then I'm going to negotiate with you. I'm an expert negotiator. I'm going to help you. I'm going to put a lot of time into you. But this buyer broker agreement that the that the new law says you have to sign. I cannot show you property without it. And so, this means that you're working with me and I'm working with you. We've done this with listings forever. And now the new law says that this relationship must be established with the buyer. It's just going to be as normal as a listing agreement. If you're weird and nervous, they're going to be weird and nervous. If you can stay calm, and guess what? At the beginning, you're going to mess it up a little bit. You're going to be weird and nervous. And I wish I could tell you to be calm and cool. It's going to take a little while, but you will figure out how to do this. And the cool thing is you're going to have 10, 15, 20 buyers under contract. And they have to call you. They have to work with you. And if you're on vacation, they're like, yeah, you can use another buyer. Just, have them call me. They're going to have to pay me a referral fee. This is how this works. It's very normal. Do you guys give your listings away and just go, here, go take my listing? No. And so you'll have the option, but make sure you put 3 in the buyer broker. Because if you put 2.5 and then the agent was offering 3, you only get 2.5. If you like, well, I'll represent you for 1.5%, and they're offering 3, you don't get to go up to 1.5%. It must be what's stated in the BBA. Just say, since most sellers are going to be offering, I would think 3, let's put 3 and see what happens. Now, if they're offering 2.5 or 2, you can lower it to 2.5 or 2. But if you put 1.5 or 2 and they're offering 3, you can't go up. It is done. It is over. That's how that works. I'm going to go to Stephanie Stewart. If she's still there, I saw her hand, or did she change her mind? Her hand
Hey,
went down.
Brent.
Well,
No, I am still here, but you kind of answered it. So if I have a BBA and that says 3%, and that listing agent also negotiated that that seller was going to pay 3%, I'm assuming I have to just cap it at 3 versus getting the 6.
Yeah. I mean, as a buyer's agent, yeah, you can't get 6. Again, if you read that paperwork that Colby had, and she could put it in the chat, you can only collect what you state in the BBA. Now, if you state 10, you can collect up to 10, but it's negotiable with the seller. Somebody go, I ain't paying you 10, I'm paying you 2 or 2.5. Then you have the right to stick to your 10 and make this buyer pay the difference, or 8 or 6%, or you could drop it all the way down to 2 and do that for those unique situations. But I'll be honest with my sellers. When I do a listing, I go, if you put a lower amount, I'm telling you right now, I've been doing this for decades, the sellers are going to, if you put less, I'm telling you right now, many of the buyer's agents will flat skip your house. The more people that see your house, the higher the price. The less exposure you get, the lower the price. So if I were you, I wouldn't do that. You have a right, and you guys are gonna have to go through and explain to the seller, educate them. And you may make some mistakes, but you'll get better with this. All in all, I love this. We have listing agreements for our sellers. We would never list a home without one. It's very normal. Now we have listing agreements for our buyers. We're going to negotiate that contract up front. It's only weird because you haven't done it. Remember, we all had crackberries and we all had pagers. Do we have pagers anymore? No, we don't. Do we have thermal fax paper? Fax machines with thermal paper that would smudge and tear, and no, we don't. Life is going to be okay. Do we have a rotary telephone? No, we don't. And so this is weird and scary, like an iPhone, like a smartphone. It's all glass. Where are my buttons? Where are my dog? I'm very tactile. I like to hit the buttons. There are no buttons on a glass smart sung by Samsung or an iPhone. I hated it. And about a month later, you guys are going to love this. You're going to make more money and be more successful. You're going to quit calling your buyer, hey, you want to look at property this weekend? And they're going to say, Chris, funny Chris, they're going to say, oh, I bought a home yesterday. No, but I was so excited. And remember that? And that's going to stop happening because you're going to, I hate to say it, because of this lawsuit to protect the consumers, you're going to own them. That's what's going to happen. You're going to own them. All right, enough said.
I love that, Brent. I just want to add 2 things. First of all, being in New York and Connecticut, I understand exactly what you're saying because it was required in Connecticut for quite some time, but not so much in New York. And many agents in New York started using the buyer agreements years ago, myself included. It was a little challenging because not all the buyer agents were doing it. So if you were doing it and others weren't, it was, you really had to sell your value, which we got used to doing. And we use buyer agent agreements all the time already. That said, though, the fact that it's going to be across the board does make it easier, I think, for those that, aren't that comfortable or haven't done that yet. So I agree with you. I think that it's going to make life a little easier in some regards. And then there's a question here, because the one thing that I do find different and potentially challenging is the fact that you can't advertise what you're offering out on the co-broke. But somebody put in the chat, can you advertise a co-broke fee on other sites? Like, so for example, through your own website or through the EXP website, or if you're with another company, how can you do it? Can you, or how can you?
So I believe that would be a third-party website. So my initial reaction to that is no. It's a third party. I could be wrong. We're going to work our way through this, but here's the deal: you could put text me in the agent only comments. Text me to see if we are cooperating. Big smiley face. And guess what? Hey, are you cooperating? If so, how much? Yep, 3%. Bingo, I'm in. So you guys, we're going to be okay. Frank Kenny, quick question. Fire away.
Yeah, hey, how are you? Thanks for doing this presentation. One thing that popped in my head was a lot of times, builders, I'm in California, but builders, if you don't show up with a buyer there, you lose the buyer instantaneously. Now you have an agreement signed with the buyer, and the buyer's going to go look at new homes just like they normally do. What happens in that situation?
You have a legal right for the buyer to pay you 3% of that $900,000 home, which is $27,000. The buyer is in a very bad point. So just say, hey, this means too on new homes, if you go look at them, the builder will not compensate me if you just show up on your own. Now, if you let me call ahead many times, I say, hey, Frank, I have my client coming in, Colby Casoria. I cannot be with her. I'm in Palm Springs. I'm at my beach house in Laguna Niguel, but I tell her not to come, and I will, or I'm gonna let you know right now, she'll come as long as you commit to giving me 3%. And so that's what I've always done with my clients. So I didn't have to tour all the new construction. They'd tell me where they were going. I would call ahead. And most new construction people said, okay, we can live with that. I said, I'm happy to tell them not to come. Just like in the MLS, Frank, are you offering a commission? No, my seller isn't. And they said they'd cross that bridge when they get to it. Well, I'm absolutely not willing to even set foot on the bridge until I know. So Frank, if you'll text your client and find out, I have a cash buyer from New York. I have a cash buyer from LA, from San Francisco. They have money burning a hole in their pocket. Or I have a very sophisticated buyer. He's a police chief. She's a nurse. They're engineers. They're very sophisticated. They have immaculate credit. They're putting down $500,000. I need to know now. We're going to skip the house or we're going to show it. But I need to know now, what's the commission? And then I'm gonna play tough. And so you guys, what they want us to do, we're going to get through this. Was that helpful, Frank?
Yeah, so I guess the bottom line is you need to have this conversation with your client up front. If they happen to just be driving by a brand new property, then they need to let you know, not go in, because once they sign the agreement, they're going to owe us a commission whether the seller pays one or not. So they could put themselves on the line for paying two commissions, basically,
And
which
you
is
blame
how it's been.
remember, we know 10 times more. The public has no idea what this means. We're totally into it. We don't really have a super clear idea what it means. So you simply tell them is that this lawsuit is designed to protect you, and so that you know what commissions are up front, but also it can hurt you if you just pop into an open house and buy it. If you just walk into a new construction build, you're going to owe $27,000 out of the blue. That never happened. But in their we're going to protect the consumer. Many consumers will have to pay 10, 20, 30, a big house, $3 million, $90,000 hit to the consumer, because this is free enterprise, and they're saying we want to protect the consumer. When this happens, the price always goes up. The consumer is rarely protected, and so you just kind of go through it. You're going to learn how to do this. We're going to be okay, you guys. We're switching to iPhones. We are switching to iPhones. You're going to love it. That's all I could say. Okay, I'm going to switch with that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Frank. Thank you. And as I have questions, I want you to put your hand up as I teach them the stuff. So number one, here's your biggest issue. Ready? If you don't have sellers calling you every day to list your home, you have a lead generation problem. If you don't have buyers calling you every day to buy $1 million house or a $5 million house or $3 million or $500,000 house, you have a lead generation problem. So goal number one, I mean, it's great that we just talked about how to do a buyer broker agreement and how to talk to your seller about them. Recommend you very much you offer. So I'm still going to list it at 6 and put 3 and I'm going to write in there under other terms and conditions. That's going to happen. But here's the deal. You have a lead generation problem. Like, okay, I got it, Brent, I know what to do. Okay, you got any sellers? I haven't got any sellers. Do you get anyone to show property to do a BB? I don't have any clients whatsoever. So the first thing you need to do is master lead generation. So whether it's door knocking, calling the expireds, doing the for sale by owners, internet lead sphere marketing, Brian Buffini, Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, pounding the phones 4 hours a day, 4 hours a day. In a good market, you call. In a bad market, call. You call and you call and you call and you're relentless and you're just pounding away. That's what Mike Ferry and Tom Ferry. There's nothing wrong with that. It's called work. It's a 4-letter word that we're repelled by, but maybe it's the future. If it's uncomfortable, it's the right place. If it's comfortable, it's the wrong place. The lazy boy recliner is very comfortable. And it's for lazy boys. And so enough said there, but you need to pick. I tried many things and I settled for me, not internet leads, not sphere marketing. I don't know if I ever tried sphere marketing, to be honest with you, but I called expireds. I called the for sale owners. I did internet leads. I tried radio. I tried TV. And where I really hit it out of the park were open houses. I mean, you can go to brentcove.com, click on real estate sales training, go to buyers, and then watch at the bottom my mega buyer open house video. Sold 427 homes in 1 year. 317 were strangers we met at open houses in 1 year. Most people have never sold 50 homes in their career to open house. I've done 300 plus in a year. Watch that training. It's 90 minutes long. I cannot do it right now. MC Dwyer, you have the floor. Real quick question. I'll give you a quick answer.
What do you think, Brent, about alternative forms of compensation like retainers, hourly rates, anything like that?
There's a creative thing that may come out of this. I haven't had that thought yet. And but there's a good example. There's stuff that's going to come out of this. So great question. Okay, I'm going to move on. But here's the deal. I want to get back to mastering lead generation. I love you guys are still on the commissions. What about those doggone commissions? How am I going to get paid? You guys are so funny. Now listen to me. When I say master lead generation, go do an open house this weekend. Start at 10 a.m. and go till 10 at night. Sunday, start at 11, go till 8. It's dark then. Yeah, I've closed many open houses in the dark. They're coming through the door. I'm staying open. Monday, I would go to the Space Museum with the 8th graders. Wednesday, I go to Apple Hill with the 5th graders. Friday, I go to the zoo with the kindergartners. I played and took my time off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I golfed every Friday morning, et cetera, et cetera. But on the weekends, I was a weekend where I worked. I sold 300 homes with my team, my buyers. I'm not a broker. I was on the contract for 427, 300. Like I mastered lead generation through open houses. Michael Soares knocks 50 doors a day in the rain. He knocks 54 doors a day when it's 114 in Sacramento. He knocks 50 doors a day, whether he feels like it or not, Monday through Friday. Well, that's 250 a week. That's 1,000 doors a month. And on a 5-week month, it's 1,250. Michael Soares lives in an 8,000 square foot mansion with 14 supercars. It's not magic. It is motion. Get your out there and go do this thing, man. Bring some energy. Oh, are you interested in selling your house? No. Okay, bye. I wouldn't want to sell my house with you either. Then bring some energy, you know? And so you got to learn how to master lead generation and then do it. And I mean, do it. Do it. I was out there for a 3-hour open house. Do a 13-hour open house. Be a woman. Be a man. Step up. Tony Robbins, the premier, he's like, step up. It's time to step up in your life, man. And then if you do it hard, it's easy. But if you do it easy, kind of poke it with a stick, it's the hardest thing you ever did in your life. Quit doing this easy and expecting beautiful results. It's not gonna happen. You got to go all in, step up, embrace failure, get hit in the face, hit in the face, hit in the face, and pretty soon you duck and they miss. And pretty soon you duck and they miss. And like, okay, they bob, I weave, they zig, I zag. I say this, it goes terrible. I say this, it goes okay. I say this, it goes really well. But so next time what I'm going to do, I'm going to say this again. It goes really well. And then I tweak it. Oh, it goes even better. All of a sudden, you're an expert. I am an expert at converting people to open houses. I'm super good. I am really good. I've done more open houses than anyone on this Zoom. I guarantee it. And you don't have to do it forever. I hate open houses. That's great. You sound like a child. You know, I don't like open houses. Great. Well, what do you like? I don't like anything. How's real estate? Good. Get on the suck it up bus. I didn't like calling expireds, but I did it. I didn't like calling the for sale by owners. They all think you're stupid. They're going to sell it themselves. But you're going to convince that person to list. And then the expireds are angry and mad. And then there's internet leads. Well, then it takes a year to commit. You know, you get what you think. I made a list of 28 buyers and sold 18 of them homes in a 3-month period. I was 18 for 28. You talk to some of these people, you got to make 300 contacts to get, 100 that answer the phone to get one client. Man, I made 37 contacts. I got, when I say contacts, they gave me their addresses, phone numbers, social security numbers, income, whether they paid alimony or child support, if they'd had a bankruptcy, and they gave me the authorization to run their credit. That was just one Sunday afternoon. Now that's the contract, of which 19 got approved, 18 had bad credit. So the 18 that got bad credit, I asked the lender, when could they buy a house? And they said, well, they could buy a house, in like 3 years if they clean up their credit. This one's too bad in 12 months. And this one they went bankrupt last week. It's 5 years. And so I said, hey, great news, Evan. You can buy a home in 5 short years. Great news, John Ruckman. You're approved to buy a home in 12 months. Great. I didn't turn anybody down. These people had, bad credit, this and that. I said, could you use some help? My lender, Jeff Compton, is going to coach you. He's going to massage that credit report. He's going to help you in 12 months. The last 12 months just fly by. Boom. You're ready to buy a home in 18 months. You were approved to buy a home in 18 months. We just have to massage your credit, kind of whip you into shape, and you'll be able to buy that dream home. So the 18 that didn't get approved, I used to call them back and say, hey, bad news. I guess you got your car repossessed last month. That's a bit of an issue when it comes to getting a mortgage loan. But, once you get your stuff together, call me back. And they never call back. I learned to say, when could they buy a house? Well, in 36 months, if we could fix their credit. Okay. And so that is how I would do it. Now, the 18 that got approved, congratulations, I got you approved. My lender wasn't there that weekend in the rain or the heat. I got you approved through my approval department, which is any approval department I choose. It may be Wells Fargo Mortgage, it may be Chase Mortgage, it may be Success Lending, it may be Platinum Mortgage of Chicago. It doesn't matter. I got you approved through my approval department. You're approved up to $1.7 million. I know you want to put down 400,000. They said they only need X, and we're ready to go. Let's go shopping. See how I do that? I don't connect them to my lender because they can go with that lender and switch to another agent. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end. I'm not Jesus, but I kind of am in the real estate world, right? I mean, all roads lead to Brent. I wasn't not really trying to make a religious statement there, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like they meet me, baby. I got you. Let's go shopping. And so that's where you're cooking with gas. But a lot of you guys, how did I get to the point where I could get 37 people to give me authorization? Well, what did you say? Go to brentgove.com, click on buyer training, and watch my open house training. I only made $3.8 million in a single year. That's all. Why would you want to watch it? I don't know why. You have better things to do. Watch The Walking Dead tonight. Go watch The Walking Dead tonight. I'm sure it's a much better use of your time. Watch the Black Cat or whatever. I mean, go watch your sitcom. Watch Yellowstone with Kevin Costner and go watch go binge that. I'm sure you don't want to watch that. Why would you want to watch that and have a better life? Listen to me, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you'll keep getting what you've been getting. So you want to have different things, do stuff like this. Like I'm going to 10X in Miami. I'm literally in Tampa. I'm on my way to the airport as soon as this is done to pick up my daughter, flying in from Bozeman, Montana. And then we're going to hang out with her for a few hours. Then around 6 or 7, I'm going to drive 4 hours and be in Miami because it's just easier to drive than to fly from here. And I'm looking forward to driving across Florida. And long story short, I'll be there tonight. I'm going to do 10X, with Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone and the speakers, like I do an event in Cabo. I speak once for 30 minutes. It's the other speakers for 3 days. And I'm going to enjoy what Grant and Elena have to say, but it's the other speakers for the next 3 days. And haven't you been before? I've been many times. that I just attended UPW by Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, for like the 5th time. Haven't you heard it? Oh yeah, I've heard it. And it was the best one. I was more ready. It was full. It was awful. But you won't even go because it's not convenient. You don't have time. Listen to me. You don't have time to succeed. You don't have I don't have the money. Fine, you win the argument. You don't have money. And where were you last year? Well, I didn't have money last year. Where were you 7? I didn't have money 7 years ago. You know, you argue, write this little zinger down. You argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. You keep them. I'm too nervous. I'm not as outgoing as you, Brent. Fine. Be fearful. Fine. Be timid. Fine. I don't have time. Don't have enough money. You know, I'm meeting a buddy of mine there tonight, Phil. When I met him a year ago, he slept in his car. I said, go to shareholders. He slept in his car. I didn't know that. I would have gotten him a hotel room. I went to my nice luxurious suite. He went out to the parking lot, got in the driver's seat, and laid it all the way back and slept in the driver's seat of his car. Today, he makes $200,000 a month. What if he had missed that event? He makes $200,000 a year a month. 10, 11 months ago, he slept in his car. And you're not going to go be crazy and get on a plane and fly to Miami tonight like you should. You should. That's the kind of stuff I do. And if you keep doing what you've done, you're going to keep getting what you have. You have a fork in the road moment. It starts tonight. Like, you really think we should get on a plane and go to Miami? Yes. Well, come on. Would you do that? I was invited at 9:30 on a Friday night to go to Toronto, Canada at 3 a.m. the next morning. I went. That was 1999. I was selling 40 homes a year. 5 years later, I was selling 400. I became the #1 RE/MAX agent in California. I went. Listen to me. You're not going to go because you're too busy. I used to write busy, I'd write lazy on a chalkboard. You're too busy, I write lazy, right? You're too busy. You're challenging me. Yes, I don't even know you. Some of you I know, some of you don't. But if you go to 10X, so 10X is going to change my life. No, it's going to blow your life. It's going to blow you away. It's going to be massive. And that'll be it? No, it's that. And then go to UPW, then go to WCR, Women's Council of Realtors, then go to NAREP, then go to ARIA. You've been to ARIA, Asian Realtor Association? Yeah, they're amazing. I've been to NAREP, National Association. I've been to their stuff. It's amazing. I've been to WCR. You're a man. Yep. And they let men go. I sit in the back. I listen to these amazing, powerful women in real estate tell me how they list multi-million-dollar homes and how they do their marketing. It's amazing. I'm just not closed-minded. And I see winners win because they find the time to get stuff done. And they fly, they drive, they hitchhike, they share a hotel room, they sleep in their car. They do what it takes. Anyways, I need to keep moving. All right. So master lead generation, go to stuff. Next, I'm going to give you this is worth coming in. These are, I had 2 items ready right here. This is, you ever show property and you're in Atlanta, you're in West Palm Beach, you're in Connecticut, you're in California, you're in Phoenix, wherever it is you live, Salt Lake City, and you get done showing 2, 3, 4, 5 homes. There's not a lot of homes on that. There's not much inventory. And they're going, yeah, that last one we like, but there were power lines. Or the last one we like, but that's a real busy road. We could hear Harleys going by. And it's just, we don't want to be by a busy road, the noise. And they're kind of depressed, and you're kind of depressed. You're not going to make a sale this weekend. They're kind of like, well, hey, I'll call you next weekend. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We're kind of busy next weekend. You're like, it's not going anywhere. I just looked at homes at Lake Tahoe. I'm going to buy a 3rd home, a cabin for my family, kind of a legacy move. So the kids and the grandkids can come up, and it's just always there. You put a little push button keypad on the door, and they could go into this beautiful cabin, and it's going to be fun. It's just something I want to do for my kids and my grandkids, and selfishly for them to come visit Grandpa. I'm going to live in Lake Tahoe area, June, July, August, September. It's a great time. The pine trees, the blue sky, the granite boulders, the fresh water, the fishing, the golf, the hiking, the mountain biking, just the family time. And so I was looking at homes, and where I'm looking is Nevada. It's a little piece of Lake Tahoe, but because of it, the price of cabins is like 5 times more. Like a $2 million cabin on the California side is 10 million there because there's no income tax. And if you save a lot of money, it makes sense to pay 5 times for the same house 1 mile away. Just depends upon what your tax burden is. So I'm looking at homes for about 7 million, between 6 and 7 million. And I'm like, I was depressed. I literally was depressed. Now, my agent, who I love, didn't do this. It's called an emergency backup home. And how the emergency backups home is your buyers put you in a box. What's the box? I got to live in Incline Village. In my case, that's my box. It's Nevada. And that part is where I want to live, but the price of real estate, I mean, on the water, it's $40-60 million, $80 million cabins on the water. It's crazy, but there's no income tax. And if you have a large business and the no income tax thing becomes a big deal when you start to do well. And so I was like looking at 1970s homes, 1980s homes, nothing wrong with that, but they're the dark oak wood. The windows are small. It was just old and tired for $7 million. And see, every buyer, including me, has champagne taste on a beer budget. It's $7 million in Incline Village. This is a teeny weeny little beer budget. So I'm putting my agent in a box, but he was, I mean, I love him, but he was being an order taker. He was listening to me. And you should listen to your clients, but your clients put you in a box. I want to live in West Palm Beach. My budget is 15 million, but the homes they want are 20 to 25 million. They're putting you in a box. Or they say a home has to be 2,000 square feet or 5,000 square feet or 10,000 square feet. That's one wall of the box. It has to be in the city. There's another wall of the box. It can't be more than 300,000. Can't be more than 3 million. Can't be more than 900,000. There's another wall of the box. Has to have a pool and a 3-car garage. There's another wall of the box. There's your box. They just put you in a box, and you look, and I got 3 homes that you go look at them. They don't like them. You go look at them. You don't like them. Hey, there's no inventory. There's nothing on the market. So here's the emergency plan B. When you go show them everything and they got champagne taste on a beer budget, you go, they want to live X, right? And for example, let me think of this. Here's a good example. In Sacramento, California, there's a El Dorado Hills. It's one of our best communities, overlooks Lake Folsom. Everybody wants El Dorado Hills, El Dorado Hills, El Dorado. It's pricey because it's all around Lake Folsom. It's pricey. But you know what's right next to El Dorado Hills? Rescue in Diamond Springs. Now, so when I get done showing El Dorado homes, they hate everything because the price of real estate's sky high, interest rates are sky high. You find another one. They said they want to live in El Dorado Hills. That's the wall. And this one's in Rescue or Diamond Springs. No one ever has ever said to me in my life, I want to live in Rescue. Never happened. I bet hundreds of buyers want to live in El Dorado Hills. No one ever says, I want to live in Diamond Springs. But guess what? There's El Dorado Hills, and here's Diamond Springs, and here's Rescue. It's they touch. So I go, hey, I got one more. I call it I even call it my emergency backup. I fold it in half. I don't tell them about it if they find what they want in El Dorado Hills. So apply this to your market, and I go, you know how you wanted 5,000 square feet? It's 5,500 square feet. You know when I wanted 2,000 new? It's 2018. You know you wanted a minimum of 3-car garage? It's a 4-car garage. You know how you wanted a pool? It's got the pool and 2 giant waterfalls coming in. They put $500,000 in the backyard. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that in Redfin. I didn't see that in Zillow. My drip feeds I was getting from other agents, how did I miss this? I don't know. It's right around the corner. I told them we might be coming. Would you like to see it? I show them the home, and it's dynamite. They're like, and then I go, let's go look at it. It's right around the corner. It's 2 minutes away. Of course we want to go. So we got like, oh my gosh, I love it. I want to make an offer right now. I says, great. Let me tell you, you need to know one thing. I could throw a rock and hit El Dorado Hills. We're not in El Dorado Hills. They're like, what? I go, it feels like El Dorado Hills. It looks like El Dorado Hills. It tastes like El Dorado Hills, but this is not El Dorado Hills. This is Rescue. Like, what's Rescue? It's the wrong zip code. And when you go to sell it, you'll sell it for less, but you bought it for less. So what that you get 200,000 less? You bought it for 200,000 less. Anybody who visits you will think you're in El Dorado Hills. Same with Diamond Springs. You're not in El Dorado. You're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. You know, where you're in Diamond Springs, and they go, "Oh, you're kidding me!" And they buy it every single time. Now, if I said, "Do you want to live in Rescue? Do you want to live in Diamond Springs?" Like, no, I want to live in El Dorado Hills. So I don't ask them. I try to make them happy, be the order taker. But when you can't make them happy, you slip over the county line. You just step over one city that's a step down, and the price of real estate is just less because no one has ever said, I want to live in Rescue. So it's because the demand is supply and demand. The demand isn't there. The homes sell for less. You'll sell a home every time. Or someone says, I want to look update between 6 and 8. And you're looking and you're looking and you're looking. You can't find anything. There's limited inventory. 6 to 8. You're like every other agent. You know, order taken agent, order taken 6 to 8. Got it, boss. You know, Carmichael, got it, boss. pull three, got it, boss. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to make them happy. Be the order taker at first, but always have that one. It's not 8. They're like, do not show me a home over 8. Got it, boss. But you've gone out 2 or 3 weekends. You can't make them happy. Here's the emergency backup. It's 875. It ain't even close to 8. It's 875. And I tell them, I read it to them. They're like, oh my gosh. Sparkling crystal clear pool, backs up to a green belt, this, that, and open floor plan, remodeled. And they're like, oh my gosh. I go, it didn't quite fit the criteria, but it's right around the corner. I told them we might be coming by. Do you want to see it? They go, sure. I go show it to them. Oh my gosh, I love it. I said, remember I said it didn't fit the criteria quite? Well, how was that? I'll tell you when we get there. Let's just go look at the house real quick. See what you think. They look, they buy, they look, they buy. And I'm in that house. See, this is how I sold 5,000 plus homes, because I'm smart. And you're smart too. You just never thought about this, the emergency backup home. And I go, look, you know how your max price is 8? Yeah. We're going to offer 775 for this house. I still haven't told them the home's 875. I'm going in 100,000 under. Well, the agent will never present my offer. There's your head killing you again. If you're in your head, you're dead. Your head's always so. I do this all the time. I come in on a home that's 875. It ends up getting 5 offers, and I get the deal because I'm 775. Why would someone get the deal? Because I understand it. I've failed so much. You just don't fail enough because you don't get to the plate because you never mastered lead generation. And so what happens is I come in at 775. I go, if they're going to counter us, they'll probably come back honestly at 850, and we're going to go up to 8. That's your max. And we're going to stand firm. We're not paying a penny more. And let me ask you, if they came down to 8 from 875 where they're listed, would you buy this house for 8? I'd buy it for 8, 10 times over. I said, good, let's start the process. Then I got to prepare the listing agent. So I called Dylan. I said, hey, Dylan, is your seller dead set on 875? I won't budge a penny. I'm setting them up. They always go, well, no, they're not dead set. I go, good, neither's my buyer. I have an offer. We're going to close it in 10 days. If your lender can't close in 10 days, get a new lender. We're going to close in 10 days. We're going to buy it as is. We're going to put up a $50,000 earnest money deposit. We're going to let your seller stay for a month rent free. We're not going to ask for a security deposit. Well, you're not representing your client very well. You're not asking for a security deposit. Good. You asked for the $5,000. I'm not. All things being equal, who do you think they're going to pick? Me. You didn't represent your client. You represented Coldwell Banker or EXP or Berkshire Hathaway or Sotheby's because you look good, but you cost them their dream home because I'm going to come in and ask for nothing. By the way, I've done this for decades and decades, and there's never been a problem. Well, there could be. Yep. And the contract protects you. The contract says they must hand the home over in the same general condition or better than when the offer was made. You're protected by the contract. Quit asking for security deposits on rent back. It's the dumbest thing you could do because I'm not asking for one. All things being equal, I just wipe because we have to, as a listing agent, go to the seller. Hey, they want $3,000 security deposit. I'm like, how do I get that back? Well, the buyer's got to agree to give it back to you. But the buyer has power over me. Oh, yeah. If the house isn't just right, they're probably, like, do they have to? No, they don't have to. Well, how would I get it back? Oh, you're going to stand before a judge. What? I got to go to court? I'm not in this business to go to a lawsuit except for a judge. Well, it's not quite like that. Like, well, there's this guy, Brent Gove. He'd let me stay 30 days rent free. And they're not asking for security. In fact, they even wrote in the offer, it's got a corner, they wrote, buyer trusts the seller. Actually wrote it in the contract. It's under financial terms. You're not even supposed to put it there. But there it is, buyer trusts the seller. No security deposit required. 10-day close, not 30. I called the listing agent. I'm an order taker. Listing agent says, we like First American Title. Okay, First American Title. How many escrow you want? 45 days. Okay, why 45? The seller's not ready to move. Kids are in school. They're not ready for 45. Okay, 45 days. I close in 10 and give them a 50-day rent back, no charge. Well, your client has a payment. If we close on the 12th of April, when's their payment? June. It ain't May, it's June. Learn how to do this business. First payment's June. So if we close the 12th and I give them 50 days, then the 12th of May, then I give them 12 more days or 20 more days, right? There's your 50 days. And I move in, get the keys, and the payments due at that time, but we get the house. I ask my clients all the time, Rima, do you want to be in a bidding war? No, I don't. Here's what I suggest we do. We make it so irresistible for the seller. We don't ask for a rent back money. We just give it to them. That's where you have to give them 40, 30, 50 days. Usually 10, 20, 30, 40 days. We'll do it many times, 30-day rent back, no security deposit. as is. It's in every contract, but I handwrite it on the contract like a fifth grader, as is. I've asked people, why did we pick it? Because you did as is. Every offer was as is. Every single offer was as is, but I got credit for it because I print the win forms and then I handwrite as is. Then I scan the thing back in and I write it like a billboard. I use 3 lines, a capital A, like a child learning how to write, their A and their S and I put it in parentheses. It's like as is, as is, as is. And so it's like, we chose you because you're as is. Every offer was as is, but you guys don't get credit because you use win forms. I use win forms too, but you put it in there. Get excited. This is so much fun. It's so much fun. So I said, hey, if we close in 10 days, we put up $50,000 earnest money. So we only put up 10 grand. I don't know. You lose the 10 grand. No, I've never lost 10 grand. I've never lost 50 grand. And they're putting up $80,000. Okay, they put up 10, then they bring in 70,000 at close. We put up 50, bring in 30,000 at close. The same amount of money. It costs nothing. But I go, look, those other chump agents that are telling you how bad they want it, they're offering 10 grand. Who's showing you? They're telling and they're showing. We have 50,000 reasons to perform in the next 10 days. By the way, when I hang up the phone, in 30 seconds, my lender's going to call you because I've already called my lender, Lorraine Beto. I said, Lorraine, when I text you the word go, call Rima. She's a listing agent on Crystal Court, and you call her and you brag on Evan. You tell my Evan Robbins can do this. He's an oral surgeon. He is a teacher at the local high school for 18 years. You tell him Evan's FICO score. If you don't have permission, get permission. You tell him his FICO score. You say, you make sure that you have W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns. It's a full, all I need is a fully executed contract, and we are the principals. We could do this in 10 days. And guess what? Rima gets paid in 10 days. Rima, I'm excited about getting 10 days. That's 900,000. Will you? I mean, I saw 3. You've offering 3%. Great. I get 27. I hope you get the same. You get 27. And make sure your seller knows. Any of those other offers, they're all doing 45 because that's what the seller told you to tell them. And they all did. They're good little order takers. They all wrote 45-day closes. I'm so disobedient. It's not even funny. We close everything in 10, vacant or occupied. We close in 10. My lender can't do that here. They're new lender. Some of them can't. They're not serving. I've taught this in 30 of the 50 states. Guess what? Not all real estate agents are creative. Not all title companies are creative. Not all lenders. And every single state, I find lenders who could do it 10. I'm not talking about a self-employed person with bad credit. I'm talking about someone who's employed with good credit. Okay. It's not that hard to have a job over 2 years and have a FICO score of 675 or better. That's not that good a credit. Yep. And we could do it in 10 days. What's your rush? Then take your time. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to smoke you every time. I've sold as many as 14 individual buyers in a single month, not a year, and a month, because I hustle. I hit the phone. Okay, Lorraine, when we hit the phone, Rima's going to call you in the next 30 seconds. They're like, yeah, right. 15, I hit go. I coach Rima, get up from that 1031 loan app you're taking, get off the phone. I have an emergency, hang up. Boom. Hey, Lorraine, this is Rima. I represent Brent Gove's client, Evan Roberts. He's a fireman, the local thing. He's got a 770 FICO. I have his pay stubs, W-2s, bank statements, tax returns. I have everything I need. I just need a fully executed contract. We're going to order the appraisal on the rush. I'll be ready to fund and record in the next 10 days. Any questions for me, Rima? No, I don't have any questions for you. Awesome. Nice meeting you. They're blown away. This does not happen in real estate. You need to always have your lender teed up. Well, my lender won't do that. Get a new lender. I work so hard for my clients. I'm out there in the rain doing open houses. I'm out there in the heat doing open houses. I spent an hour putting my signs up. An hour? Yeah. Watch the video. Well, I don't want to do open house. Fine. Master lead gen on the internet. Do radio, do TV, figure out what you want to do and kick butt. And by the way, I did radio once, it failed. I did radio twice, it failed. The third time I did radio, it succeeded. You may have done an open house and not liked it and failed. You might have been in it twice. Eventually, the third time I did, third time's a charm. People called me every single day to list their home because of the radio, yet I failed twice. So I don't care whether you failed on TV before, try it again. Whether you failed on radio, try it again. You failed open house, try it again, and learn to do it differently. The third time I succeeded on the radio, guess what? I copied a guy who ran dog training commercials. He's like, he does little shticks about training dogs. And then he'd end with, call me Uncle Matty. I'll talk to you personally. So I called Uncle Matty because he was so personable. Call me Uncle Matty. I'll talk to you personally. Kind of on the ups. I'll talk to you personally. I'm like, oh, I want to talk to this guy. Sounds really cool. So I call him up. It's $5,000 to train your dog. He had 40 people lined up. Dude, what's 10 times 5? 50,000 a month. He trains like 40 a month. He's making 200,000 a month training. So guess what? My next ad on the radio. You want to know what your home's worth? You know something's wrong with Zilly. You know something's wrong with Zillow? Call me, Brent, go. Talk to you personally. I feed the dog trainer. And guess what? My phone freaking blew up because everyone knows Zillow's full of hot air. They're just averaging your home with all the other homes in your neighborhood, and you remodeled the kitchen, you put a new roof on, you redid the pool, you did your landscaping, and you know something's wrong. Call me, Brent Gove. I'll talk to you personally. I'll tell you what your home's actually worth. Boom, 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 that phone blows up. But it was the third time. You know the key to success is failure. The key is failure. And your ego is not your ego. You are simply not afraid to fail. Your lack of being willing to look bad because you're such a stinking narcissist. One people, I don't want to say it wrong. So you say nothing. You say it once a day. Say it 30 times a day. Master lead generation, massive action creates results. And then, well, I'm doing all that. I did open houses all day. And then you got to throw that thing called energy. Like I'm overdoing some things for you to get it. What I'm displaying here is energy. Passion is infectious. I'm passionate. That some of you love me. So like, he's too much for me. Fine. Engineers, I repel engineers. People get bit by mosquitoes. Oh my God, I got bit by 20. I never get bit. I don't taste good. I don't know what it is, but mosquitoes don't like me. They never bite me. Engineers are repelled by me. Scientists are repelled by me. It's fine. I've had engineers, scientists, clients. I don't enjoy working with them. So I find my tribe. Your vibe is your tribe. I work with fun, loving, kind, sanguine, outgoing people. I enjoy them. They enjoy me. Life's beautiful. It's freaking well, but you're trying to get that lawyer, you're trying to get that engineer, and he didn't buy the home. I had one guy, he's 27 years old. He goes, this house is perfect, but the driveway's too steep. And he goes, yeah, my fifth wheel is going to bottom out there at the bottom. I go, you're 27 years old, you own a fifth wheel? He goes, no, but when I retire in 30 years, I'll own a fifth wheel. He was solving a problem 30 years from now as an engineer. That was the last time I ever worked with an engineer, the last time. I don't enjoy working with them. I don't enjoy working with attorneys. Some of them are nice, but many of them can be different. I'm not saying they're all this way. You don't work with that. Nope. If I find their attorney, I would just refer them out. If I find their engineer, I don't. I work with people I enjoy work with. They get to pick who they want to. I get to pick who I want to work with. Okay, so how are we doing on time? So I'm going to open this up for some Q&A. We have like 2 or 3 minutes left. Quick rapid fire Q&A. What did I say that you went? What the heck is he talking about? We're going to do quick questions, fast rapid fire answers. Go down to the bottom, hit reactions, put raise my hand. First one is Evan Robertson, the queue. Evan, fire away.
Hey, Brent, quick question. I know you quote Zig Ziglar a lot, and if I'm interested in reading some of his books or you know, what elements of mindset have inspired you from his work?
It's a great book by Zig Ziglar. I listened to him more than I read his stuff. I'll be honest with you. I love Zig. He talks about wandering generalities and being meaningful, specific. Like, what are you going to do today? I'm going to go to the office, call some buyers, call some wandering generality. Meaningful. I'm going to go to the office, and from 9 to 11, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to make 30 phone calls. Be very specific. I'm going to book 3 appointments. And then afternoon, I'm going to do real estate. But, you know, you got to be very specific. Like, I got to the point where I'm showing property every day. That's it, period. And when I started showing property every day, I started writing offers every day. And that's when I started selling a home every other day. Every other day. You sell a home once a month, once every 2 months. It's enough to throw yourself off a bridge. You know, you're like, this is the best thing. I'm so miserable. I'm living a life of blind desperation. You, man, you got to just, that action creates results. And then you add energy. And then people respond to it, you know. Contagious proximity. That's what we're experiencing today on this thing. You're getting around me, and I'm giving you something, and you may go, not for me. Click off, and you'll never hear me again. That's cool. Contagious proximity. Get around people you love. You vibe. Your vibe is your tribe. Your tribe is your vibe. If I met a guy one time, I was selling 40 homes a year. He's doing 170, triple what I was doing, and I got around him, and he dropped so many F-bombs and effing this and effing that, those mother effing. I'm like, this is not a culture fit. I do not want to catch what he has, contagious proximity. And so I just, if I slam my finger, is it possible I say a swear word? Totally. I'm human. I could definitely let one fly. Like, you know what I mean? But is that my normal thing? No. And so this guy had been kicked out of every title company in a certain city. And I go, I'm just going to pass. I didn't know that. So I don't. There you go. Read Og Mandino, The Greatest Salesman in the World. If you've never read the book, it's a little paperback. You read it in 2 nights. If you've never read The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino,
Okay.
feel sorry. It's the Bible of sales.
Thank you.
Awesome. Stephanie Stewart, fire away. Your mic is muted. There you go. Thank you.
Hey,
Evan.
Brent. One, what are some questions or how are you interviewing your lenders to make sure they can close in 10 days? Are they like in-house, have their own underwriting or?
You have to say this: if I bring you a buyer with good credit and good job history, and good credit being defined as 675 or better, and they have good job history, at least 2 years on the job, everything's clean, and you have W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns, everything you need, the file's complete, can you close in 10 days? That's all you need to know. You don't have to ask them about the back end of the house. That's their business. Any good lender's going to go, heck yeah, no problem. I just did 1 in 9. Now they have a pipeline. They don't want you to do that. They want you to do 30, but you do 30, all things being the same. I do 10. I get the listing agent paid in 10. I get the seller proceeds in 10. Then I give them a 30-day rent back free, no security deposit. Who would you choose? All things being the same, I bet you anything the listing agent's going. I recommend we take Felicia's Johnson's offer. I recommend we take Jeff Turner's offer. Man, I would definitely go in with Dylan. I would go with Fred Edison. Let's take Fred's offer because we're done in 10 days. 10 days worth of questions. You get your proceeds in 10 days. If something goes wrong in 30, we're starting over. Let's go with Fred's offer. Fred's 100,000 less, but let's counter him full price to other offer. It's much better. See if they'll pay it. Let's take Fred. They always counter me because my terms are so good. I don't get involved in bidding wars. They just say, hey, would you match the best one? Yes, we would. Home's yours. Super easy. Or you can represent your client, but he has such horrible terms that they come back to all of you, highest and best. And the client goes, what's that? And you go, well, this is what's the absolute maximum you would pay for this property? And let's for that. We'll throw as much money over there. How much are they asking? They're asking 870. We go 910. Okay, 40,000 over. Let's see if we can get it. And you close your eyes and you throw $40,000 over that asking price. And the truth is, maybe 880 wouldn't have done it, but 890 would have. But you paid 910. You overpaid by $20,000 because you have an agent who's representing their client asking for a $5,000 security deposit, dumbest thing in the world. And then they're fighting over the rent back. Well, our new payment is $2,900 a month, and then the sellers live there for 20 years. Goes, I paid $1,500 a month. I'm not paying $2,900 a month. You're fighting over $1,500. Stop it. We are not property managers. We're not in that business. Man, I'm getting fired up. Stephanie Stewart,
Right.
final question.
Okay. So I get that. Now, part 2 of that is if we close in 10 days and they have a rent back for 30 days, what happens if they don't leave that property in better or, in a bad condition? Because I did do that once, but they left so much trash in that house. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And then guess what? When you close in 30 and they move out in a day or two, what if they're not out in a day or two? And so, yes, that's a possibility. I called my friend who's a fireman. He was in between jobs and I paid him $200. He went over there with his truck. He went over there with Windex. He went over with vacuum cleaners and he whipped that house into shape. And I was the hero. They should have done it. They go, we're not doing it. Now, what you just told me has happened once in 27 years. So people get struck by lightning, weird stuff happens. I have a friend who won the lottery twice, but he's the only one that's even won the lottery and he won it twice. So you don't let fear stop you. The contract protects you. And then, it is a possibility, but if they're Hell's Angels or college students, don't do it. Right.
Yeah.
But enough said, at least they got the house. Final questions, anybody? You bet. Okay.
So-
it is up.
Brent, before you jump, I just want to comment on the amount of energy that you have brought to this call and to every encounter I've ever had with you is just phenomenal. And I want to say thank you so much because the energy is everything. Do you have a last thought that you want to share? If you wanted to say one thing to everybody here So one fleeting
Yes.
last thought.
Yes, I flew to Toronto with 6 hours notice, 3,000 miles one direction. This is your Toronto moment. Have some guts. Go book a flight. Meet me in Miami. I'll meet you in the lobby. We'll have a decaf coffee tonight. I'll buy you breakfast tomorrow morning. I will have breakfast with you tomorrow morning. Get on a plane, come out here to Miami, and change your life, man. Do it. It's a step. It's one of the steps. Don't stay home and live a life of quiet desperation. I got nothing to do all week. Let's hang out all week. I'd love to hang out with you, but you got to get on the plane. You got to drive 14 hours. Do what it takes. It starts tomorrow. I think tickets are like $2,000 each. And I'm bummed they don't cost 10. I wish they cost 10. The more you pay, the more you pay attention. The average 18-year-old will drop $50,000 on $50,000 on college this year. And you won't buy a $2,000 ticket, a $300 airline flight. Where would I stay? Figure it out when you get here. It's Miami. There's a million hotels. You're going to be okay. Yeah, I'll let you stay in my car if you want. I'm driving around. Let you sleep in the driver's seat. Do what it takes, baby. Come on. If you want my number after you buy your airline ticket, reach out to Colby or Eva, and they will give you my cell phone. Text me. Let's hang out. I want your life to change. But you staying home guarantees nothing's gonna change. I'll see you in the lobby tonight, 11:30. I'll buy you a decaf coffee. That's rock and roll. Love you guys. Have a good day.
Love
Thank you,
Brent.
Brent.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for
Thanks for being
joining.
here.
Next one is Jean Fredericks.
Yes, April 8th, 1 week from today. I'll send out a link for everyone to RSVP. And the recording for this call will be posted on YouTube. We'll send that out as well. So thanks for being here.